Yo. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Perseverance Maremeni, also known as Madam Speaker, also known as the CEO of LIVHU. Today is such a sad day, a heartbreaking day, a very painful day for me. I've been dragging to do this video since the morning up until now, and yo, guys, I feel so drained because of the recent news that we heard about the passing of vendor popular comedian SABC LIVHU. For the longest time, the couple has been on the scandals of domestic violence where the wife would just tell us where to get off after the guy had, dribbled her and convinced her to go get the cases dropped of him abusing her and everything. And in everything that that woman said, I think the last video that she posted was when she was in the car with her husband, where she was saying, as a nation, we must not cry for her. We must not worry about her. We must just relax because she is happy. She's living the soft life. But now she woke up dead. I've been refreshing my news feed since yesterday and this morning, hoping that this would be a joke, lies or just a prank, because obviously since the guy is the comedian, something like this is capable of pulling off. But when I heard it on radio to say the guy is in police custody and everything, and a sequence of events of what actually happened leading to him being in custody, it's really, really scary, because it's really hitting hard now, to say, I am so discouraged, I'm so drained, I'm so heartbroken, because as one person who is always advocating for women to love themselves, to protect themselves, protect their peace, be in healthy relationships. If a relationship is not healthy for you anymore, there's nothing embarrassing about you leaving a relationship which is not working out for you, especially one that is going to endanger your health, and just your well-being and the well-being of your kids. But seeing that there are still so many women out there, I know there's a lot of them, a lot more of them who don't like my content because I'm bitter, who would listen to a divorcee and everything. But it doesn't mean that it hurts any less, realizing that somebody actually lost their life, because life has no trial and error method. And as much as for the longest time we've been talking about how this guy is going to kill this woman eventually, we never really thought that it would really happen, And the one thing that is more painful than anything when something like this happens is, what about the kids? Where are the kids now? Which takes us to the topic that I wanted us to discuss today, which is staying in a toxic and abusive relationship, a dysfunctional relationship for the sake of the kids. To say, have you really checked on the kids to say, is this what you want me to do for you? Because let's not lie to one another and say that when you're staying in a relationship that is toxic, that is not good for you, you're doing it for the kids. We all know that you're just looking for a good enough excuse, and you feel like saying that you're doing it for the kids is a good enough excuse, and it's not, because you're exposing your kids to that toxicity, to that. It's a lot of stuff that you're exposing your kids to. There's one lady who commented on one of my videos, and she said that our parents chose to stay for us, and right now we are broken beyond repair. I think one other thing that makes it even more difficult for people to bounce back and recover from the trauma that they faced in a household where there's a mom and a dad is the fact that the two parties which are involved don't see anything wrong with what they did, to a point where even when the child gets married and they stay in a dysfunctional marriage, the parents would be the ones who say, no, you must stay for the sake of the kids, simply because they stayed. And because they don't know better, they are not exposed to information that we're exposed to. There's an argument which was going on another app where somebody was saying that this wave he was calling it a wave of feminism where women feel like they can do everything by themselves now because they can pay the bills. They feel like they can raise kids by themselves. A boy child needs a dad, and so does a girl child, because kids grow up without knowing who to learn from, because when they pick things up on the streets or when they're being raised by a woman who knows only how to be a woman, it becomes difficult for that woman to teach the boy child how to become a boy. But we have boy children who are growing up in homes where there's both a mom and a dad, and these people are toxic to the kids and they're teaching kids how to be violent. So are we saying that a kid is better off being exposed to violence because it's coming from a father figure than a kid being exposed to only one figure who is exposing them to just love? Can love not conquer all of these things? I feel like raising kids should have nothing to do with the gender of the person who is doing the raising of the kids. It is because of these reasons, these lame, stupid reasons. I don't even know who comes up with these things. It is because of these reasons that people end up being stuck in relationships which are dysfunctional, relationships which end up killing them. Because right now, if you look at Mmea Muofhe, as the nation used to refer her because she's Muofhe's mother, to say if she stayed in her marriage because her kids deserve to grow up in a home where there's a mom and a dad. What is happening right now? Because the mom is dead, the father is in prison, now the kids must run around. The kids are even more confused and more destroyed than they were when they were still staying with these two parties. Whereas if one party could have left with the kids and the two had a relationship with the kids separately, maybe the kids could have turned out fine. They could have turned out better than the situation that they were exposing them to, because the abuse was not only on the mom, but it was on the kids as well. Because this woman used to do lives and talk about how she's being abused, how a kid is being thrown into a cage of dogs, and she had a big scar here on the face. I think the kid still has the scar on the face where the father threw her into a cage where there were dogs and the dogs beat her and stuff like that. And a whole lot of other things that this woman was confessing, to say, this is what this man has put me through. When does it stop? That's the thing that I want to ask us ladies today, to say, when is it enough for you to say, I want to pick up my bags now and I want to go? When do you do it for yourself? Because isn't it that when you're using the excuse, I want to do it for my kids, you feel like it's a valid excuse, it's a good enough excuse? When do you do it for you? Because you can't say that you are staying in an abusive relationship because you love somebody. You love them to a point of death, and then you die, they leave. If death comes naturally, so then it's good. But if death is going to come because you think that love is supposed to be so painful for you, you don't deserve to be happy, you want to stay in a dysfunctional relationship because of love, and then on top of that you say that you are staying because you come from far with this person, you built everything with this person, you're not gonna walk out of your home so that some girl can just come and walk in. Well, what happens right now when you have died in the hands of this man? What happens? Does now that not make other girls come and stay in your home? The very thing which you are trying to avoid when you stay in your home, are you not dying for the same thing now? It's even worse now that you don't only leave your home and continue with your life. You leave your home and you disappear, and you're never remembered. You are always forgotten. You are forgotten forever. It is such a sad thing. It is such a sad and painful thing. And I just wanted to say that, listen, guys, I know that with me, it's more personal for me, because a lot of people who stay in dysfunctional relationships, they are not fans of my content because they feel like I'm bitter. Anybody who listens to me will never get married. Anybody who listens to me will just be bitter like me. I'm bad influence. I want to influence people to get divorced. And those who are not married, I want to influence them to not get married. But at the end of the day, I feel like with the amount of people who are already consuming my content in a positive way, who say, listen, with your videos, I managed to get out of this, I managed to stay out of this, I managed to do this and that, that for me is good enough. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not painful for me to see that there are people who are still dying because of the ignorance, and also because of the resistance of listening to videos of the stuff that I post about. It is really still sad. One life lost is one too many. It's one too many. And for me, it hits home, because this is something that happened in my home in Venda. So it really, really does hit home. My goodness, this is so painful. It's so painful, because this is the reality of a lot of women. it's a reality of a lot of kids. When I was checking my TikTok today, where I posted a video about if people have really checked on their kids, to say, when you say you are staying for the sake of your kid, is your kid really happy with you staying? Have you given them a chance to say, Mama, I want you to stay, or I want you to go? Do you really know what is good for them when you get to a point where you are just doing things which are hurting your kids? And a lot of ladies and gents were coming in there saying that, I wish my mom had left. I wish my mom had left. The day my mom left was the day that I was happy. The day these two people separated was the day that I was happy, because I knew that one day they were going to kill each other. Imagine having your kids growing up with that type of thing. You know, it's so painful. It's so painful. Unfortunately, we can't speak to the dead because they're already gone, but we can only speak to those who are alive. And I know that in situations like this, in circumstances like this, people who usually are going through the same thing, they hide their faces. They don't want to, they don't want to expose themselves to any negativity. They take a break from social media right now. They'll be back next week when the fire has died down and nobody's talking about the death of this woman anymore, so that they can continue living the reality of their life, which is the same as what has killed the other person. And the one thing that is more painful than anything is the fact that you will always think that your partner is not that bad compared to that guy who killed his wife, because you would think, no man, mine would never beat me up like that. But it always starts small. It always starts with just one slap across your face. The next thing, they're strangling you. The next thing, like literally, even the day they kill you, it's not like they really want to kill you. It's just that they really want to beat you far worse than what you've already survived in their hands. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, whatever they've put you through, the fact that you have survived it means that it's not painful enough. It means that you're not getting the message enough. That is why you are still disrespectful, according to them. Even after they've shown you flames, even after they've beat you to a pulp, you'll still raise up from that and still be disrespectful. That means that now when they beat you up for the second time or the third time or the 20th time, they need to up the game now a little bit so that you can really feel what they're trying to get you to feel. So it gets worse and worse by the day, to a point where they eventually kill you, So I really, I'm so heartbroken. And like I said in the beginning of the video, to say that I would always refresh my news feed to think maybe it's a joke or something like that. Like, is this really happening? Is this really happening right under our noses? Because this couple, the way they've been such a public couple, the way that this woman has been publicly abused, we would just laugh, because she says that we must not feel sorry for her, but at the end of the day, we would feel that, what, this guy's gonna kill you eventually. This guy's it's gonna kill you eventually. But I don't think anybody ever thought that it would happen now, or the way that it did. But here we are. How did this relationship just be a public thing throughout the whole thing? And now that we are here, as a nation, we are heartbroken. To think that there are people who actually took advices from such a woman to say, you know what, you must never leave your matrimonial home because of another woman. Every man cheats. This man apologized. Where will I get to drive an Audi if I leave this marriage? Well, now you are gone for good. The Audi remains, The Audi remains now. You are gone for good. And all the other stuff that you thought that were nice life things for you, they remain and you are gone. Are they really worth you dying for all those things? Are they really worth it? I don't have words. I'm just so heartbroken. And the way this couple has been such a public couple, I hope that the justice system does justice, and set an example. Because it is alleged that the guy is the one who called the police to say he found his woman in a ditch. Obviously he will not say he's the guy who killed the woman. And now he's gonna appear in court on Monday and whatever. But obviously, this woman has been saying how cruel this man is. In almost every life that she would do, where she would be venting, she would be talking about how cruel this person is. When you count cruel people, you must count this man in. But for some reason, she would always go back to the same man over and over and over again. And now she's dead. Now she's dead. And when the police were asked about the kids, they said no, they're in a safe space because they look into family members who are willing to take the kids, and also all the other facilities where they can take the kids and just take care of them. Is that really worth it? Is that really worth? I can't imagine myself dying in the hands of a man and then my kids just be thrown around like a packet of, I don't know, like a sack of potatoes because I died, because I chose that I'm gonna stay in this toxic situation for them, and then I die and I leave them. It doesn't even make logical sense. I'm not one to. I know that a lot of people, especially those who are in denial, would always say that I want to influence people to divorce and be like me. I gain absolutely nothing from people either staying married or getting divorced. If you decide to get divorced, I benefit nothing from that. If you decide to get married, I benefit nothing from that. But me sharing your story is the hope that I'm sharing my story with the hope that maybe it will change a life. Maybe it will make somebody see things in a different light, because we are being lied to on a daily basis. People don't want to tell the truth about things that really happen behind closed doors, and I feel so compelled to share my story because I don't want to see any other person who goes through, or any other person who has to ever go through what I've been through or worse. So I'll just put my information out there and try to create a safe space and do my utmost best. And anybody else who wants to take over from me will do that. Generations after me, if they want to come and take over, they can do that. But I feel like I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to put as much information as I can out there, the realistic information of things that nobody wants to talk about, because people really don't want to tell the truth about what happens in marriages, because nobody wants to carry the shame of being called a bitter divorcee. So people would rather lie. Those who have experienced bad marriages would rather keep quiet, and those who are still in those bad marriages would rather pretend as if things are good. Like literally, you have to master the skill of pretending if you want to make it in this marriage life. And it's not all marriages, please don't get me wrong, it's not all marriages, but majority of them, you literally have to act. The thing that you thought you would get when you get married, when you don't get it, you must act for you to get it. And I want to emphasize that not all bad marriages or all dysfunctional marriages have to end in separation and in divorce. It all depends on whether people want to put in the work or not. And in most cases, there's always going to be one member who is not willing to put in the work. There's always going to be one member who feels like one other member must be the one who does all the work, and one they're not going to do anything. And for as long as work is not going to be done by two people, let me tell you something, you're not going anywhere. If you want to try your level best to make your marriage work, but the person you are married to does not put in any work, you are not going anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you can work on your dysfunctional marriage, it can work out. Because having a dysfunctional marriage, it's like when you I don't know if you know my 600-pound life, where you're really obese to a point where it's life-threatening for you. So what you have to do is that you have to do whatever it takes for you to regain yourself back and just lose some weight so that you can live again. So that is like a matter of life and death, right? So marriage, a dysfunctional marriage is like that, where you need to put in the work. One has to do the exercising, one has to do the eating healthy. The amount of work that you have to put in to restore what has been broken is a lot more than the amount of work that you put in to destroy the marriage. So if one is healthy diet and the other one is exercise, these two things have to go hand in hand for you to eventually get into the shape that you want, for you to eventually get into the marriage that you want. But if one is eating healthy and the other one is not willing, or the other one is exercising but the other one is not willing, then you are not going anywhere. You get what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying that it's not a lot of marriages that survive dysfunctionality, but if people are willing, all you need is just the willingness for you to make it work, and you can definitely make it work. Not all bad marriages, not all dysfunctional marriages have to end in divorce and separations. Depending on how badly you want it to work out, you can actually put in the work and work as a team together and rebuild from scratch. It's just that it's going to be hurtful, it's going to be more painful than before, but it is definitely doable. There's absolutely nothing which is impossible. But the problem is nobody wants to put in the work. Everybody just wants a ready-made perfect marriage, and that's not how it works. Once one person is putting in the work and the other one is not putting in the work for the rest of the marital life, you're not going anywhere. It's just going to be painful for the one who is putting in the work. You get what I'm saying? But anyway, I wish you all the best, guys. Even those who are in abusive relationships, I hope that with all the content that we're posting out there every day, with everything which is in the current affairs and everything, I hope that one day it gets to speak to your heart so that you decide what is good for you. Choose yourself and choose love. Excuse the noise, I have kids outside playing. So yeah, I wish you all the best in everything. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, to like, to comment, to share, and show me some love with some super stickers and the works. I love you and I appreciate you. I'll see you on the next one.